By being crowned PBA Player of the Year, Wes Malott earned the privilege of being this season's first King of Bowling. Since the proclamation, he has ruled his kingdom with complete and utter domination. Knights, jesters, lefties, righties, and even Hall of Famers have all come to challenge the king, but the Big Nasty has systematically disposed of all those who dared to seize his throne. Along the way, King Wes has proven he can be perfect and worthy to rule the PBA kingdom for years to come. Today, Wes looks to extend his rule to 5 weeks in a row while retaining his title as the PBA King of Bowling. We welcome you to the fifth and final installment of the PBA King of Bowling, powered by AMP. Tonight from the Kegel Training Center in Lake Wales, Florida, we'll see if the king, Wes Malott, can complete his quest of running the table for 5 straight weeks. And glad you're with us this evening. I'm Rob Stone. 5 weeks ago, we began with Wes Malott holding the title of king, courtesy of winning this season's PBA Player of the Year honor. Since then, he has faced every conceivable form of opposition and has been able to move on. He's taken down 3 former Players of the Year, a former Rookie of the Year. He even took on PTI co-host Michael Wilbon. He dropped a 300 game versus Walter A. Williams Jr. Then last week, he was truly tested by the southpaw Rhino Page. A huge late flurry of strikes was able to get him to move on to today's show again in the role of king. This week, he will duel the winner of the Brad Angelo Parker Bohn III match. Former King of Bowling, Randy Peterson, joins us now. And last week, Wes Malott, his throne was truly tested, but like a good king, he didn't just back down to somebody trying to run the kingdom by knocking on the doors. He stepped up, looked who was there, and slammed that door right back in Rhino Page's face.
For the first time in this event, he was faced with real adversity. He was battling his own demons. He had approach issues. He even flagged the 7-pin. But like every great ruler, he rebounded from that and threw the last 7 strikes in a row to shut out Rhino Page. Needing all 3 in the 10th to win by 1 pin. There's the last shot that gave him another victory.
Never give up, right there.
Now for the introductions of tonight's competitors.
The reigning PBA Player of the Year. He won 3 titles this season, earning the title Mr. Versatility, the Big Nasty, and current 4-time King of Bowling, Wes Malott.
One of my things that I've always told myself is I don't want to be, a one-hit wonder, if you want to say. I want to be someone who's competitive week in and week out and have a chance to win every week. With that and experience and understanding ball motion and ball reaction, I put myself in that position every week.
He won his first career Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour title this season at the Pepsi Viper Championship in Omaha, Nebraska. The 2002-03 PBA Rookie of the Year, Brad Angelo.
This year started out fantastic. I was able to live out a dream that I'd had as a child, winning my first title in Omaha. Some good times and real special memories were fulfilled.
This is what I work for! His 32 career titles tie him for 5th all-time on the Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour. A 2-time PBA Player of the Year, Parker Bohn III.
This year for me out on the PBA Tour had more highs and lows than probably any of the past 10 or 15 years. I started out the year very good, fortunately winning my 32nd title in Buffalo. Then New Year came. Starting January 1st, it was like for 2 months, Parker Bohn forgot how to bowl. I kept working at it, and fortunately, lo and behold, the last 3 or 4 weeks, it really started coming back together. Unfortunately for me, the season's done.
5 weeks ago, Brienne Pettigo interviewed Wes Malott as he began his rule. Now, Bree, we talked to him on the tail end of his rule.
4 have tried, 4 have been shot down. Wes, this is it, the final match. You win, then you're king for good. Knowing that, will you approach this one differently?
No, not really. I've still, as I've said in past weeks, all these guys out here are good. They put themselves in position this year to be in this environment, over these past few weeks. So I've got one more task ahead of me to keep my throne, and that's my goal.
I guess, guys, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Not at all, but Brad Angelo and Parker Bohn III trying to break that string of king titles by Wes Malott. We begin our coverage when we return to Lake Wales.
The PBA King of Bowling, powered by AMP, is brought to you by AMP. AMP Up. AmpEnergy.com. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by Lumber Liquidators. Hardwood flooring for less.
We welcome you back to Lake Wales, Florida, in our continuing coverage of the PBA King of Bowling, powered by AMP. Time now for your Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood. It's Wes Malott's call as king, and he calls Scorpion.
Big shocker. The right-handers will play out to start. Parker Bohn loves that outside line. As the oil pattern breaks down, they move into the center of the lane. Has anybody found the right ingredients to take down Big Wes Malott on his favorite oil pattern?
No one yet. Rhino Page made a great run last week, finally falling 257 to 233. And Parker Bohn III, the lefty, will step up. Just completed his 24th year on the tour. 32 career titles, just one major.
I want to get over here.
Parker, I promise you it's not his first time on television.
Come on.
Up first, Parker Bohn III. Just finished his 25th year on the tour, 32 tour titles, one major.
How about a nice little pin carry to start this match for the Hall of Famer?
Just a little bit of that Wes Malott carry.
Love you, baby. Get it
Not
out
sure
now.
it's a little Wes Malott carry. It's everybody's carry here at the Kegel Training Center.
Great pin
Even I
carry.
could get some carry here.
Rob,
Maybe carry out service, but
you might be able to throw a four-bagger here.
that sounds nice.
Notice I said four-bagger.
Here's Brad Angelo, Lockport, New York native. Gets all 10 to kick. Brad just completed his 8th year on the tour. Just one victory on the Lumber Liquidators PBA Tour title, and it came this year in Omaha at the Pepsi Viper Championship.
And you know, we've had a hard time getting Wes Malott to wear the entire king wardrobe, the crown, the cape.
He did it coming out last week.
The scepter.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I promise you this, if this man here were to win today, he would have no problem donning the wardrobe.
In the pit.
I saw you gallivanting around with the robe earlier today, prancing around in the approach.
Yeah, but I wasn't the one taking pictures of myself sitting on the throne. That was you.
Yeah, I also have a few of you sitting out there as well. The scepter, the robe, the throne that Wes has been perched on now for 5 straight weeks. Watching Brad Angelo and this man, Parker Bohn III.
Little tug shot here for PB3, goes high, only leaving the 4-pin, but that almost had a chance to go down as well.
We've seen the 4 or any other pin under those circumstances drop many a time through this. And here's Parker on tonight's format.
It's going to be neat. You know, you only have 3 players. Obviously, we all know that the king is there. He's the reigning king, and he is going to bowl me or my opponent. And the way that I look at it is just go out and do what I know how to do best. Knock over 10 pins, win the first match, and then I only have to win 1 match for the title or to be reigning king of the hill.
That's right. One of the perks of being the lower seeds here is that you really only have to win, for these guys, 2 matches, and you're the king. It's done. Wes had to go through everyone.
Let's go,
Parker Bohn III drops them all. He was a wild card entrant into this tournament. He finished tied for 11th on the PBA Player of the Year point list. Brad Angelo finished 10th. Here is Angelo. Opened up with a double, looking for 3. Hello, Big Four.
And we've seen it for 5 consecutive weeks where Wes Malott is the only player that's created angle on this scorpion oil pattern. Everybody else goes 2 straight, in my opinion.
Open frame after starting off with 2 straight strikes. Angelo will continue here in the 4th. Talked to him about his season earlier today. Said, you know, didn't finish as strongly as I would have liked. Did finish 6th at the U.S. Open, the 4th time, and 4th time he's finished in the top 10 at the U.S. Open, but missed the show. But he said, all in all, great season. You know, I met my goal of making 3 shows. And this is a guy who was seriously mulling retirement coming into this season.
Oh, and getting off to that hot start, you would think that you get the impression that Brad was going to bowl a big game. Instead, it's through the nose big 4, through the nose 3-6-10, and in jeopardy now of going back-to-back open frames.
And there are your back-to-back open frames. And a bowler of the quality of Parker Bohn III sees his opponent roll back-to-back opens, and he says, "Drool bucket on right lane, please." "32 career titles, ties him with Norm Duke for 5th all-time on the PBA list. That was mulling a Brooklyn here in Florida.
Timeout. What are you doing?
Yeah, I was kind of wondering the same thing, Parker. I've never seen you make a shot like that in your entire career. I mean, the first one was through the nose. Okay, I'll give you that. But Parker Bohn III pulling at Brooklyn. I mean, come on.
5'8". Well, he really is DVD worthy, though, with his approach, his release, his follow through.
Classic style. I mean, it's one of the styles that has really withstood the test of time out here on tour. He doesn't look any different than when he started out here 25 years ago. And I think the interesting thing, though, right now is it looks to me like he's playing so much farther in than any of the other southpaws we've seen in this series. And that obviously a little bit farther to the left. Rob, and that ball labored really hard to get back. So it just looks to me that like he's not very comfortable on this scorpion oil pattern.
Do you know who is comfortable on the scorpion oil pattern?
Yeah, the guy in the big chair with the drool bucket between his feet. Yeah, that
Draped
guy.
in the red velvet. After 2 open frames, Angelo gets back with an X. 3 strikes, 2 open frames for Angelo. Cuts the deficit to 19.
Malott over there working his abacus as we speak. Trying to factor in another 10 grand. Unless Brad Angelo or Parker Bohn III can start stringing about 5 or 6, 7 in a row. And that could have been another big 4. So it just goes to show you what kind of ball reaction Wes Malott can create on this scorpion oil pattern when none of the other players can. And you go down the list of the players that he's taken on and the players that have competed in this event. I mean, Rob, you're talking about 11 of the best players on tour.
Angelo down 19 to two-time Player of the Year Parker Bohn III. There is your reigning Player of the Year, Wes Malott, waiting on the throne to find out who his opponent will be on the final edition of the King of Bowling. Continued wonderful support here in Lake Wales at the Kegel Training Center as our coverage of the PBA King of Bowling rolls on. And for the third consecutive year, the PBA will return to a Six Flags property for a unique outdoor event. Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey will host 15 PBA stars in a format that features 3 teams in round-robin play. The first of 15 shows airs Sunday, June 21st at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Again, that's from Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey, which just happens to be where Parker Bohn III and Johnny Petraglia live right now.
Hey, are you going to be there?
Rumor has it, yes.
I'm going just for the rides.
Not working?
Okay, I'll work with you.
Good decision.
As long as you'll have me. BFF.
Forever.
Hey, good one.
Hey, hey, hey.
Well, it was interesting talking to Parker this year about his season. You know,
Man, that was actually good.
he went with the old roller coaster term, but you know, sometimes it's apropos. You know, he started off fine. Once I
try
hit
to do
that
that
break,
again.
you know, come January 1st, I couldn't get out of my own way. Wasn't using his legs enough, which, as he said, has been one of my strengths. And we saw what Parker can do in Florida at the end of the PBA season. Last year, he won the Roll the Riches in Orlando. He's got his family in attendance here.
Parker Bohn in at about the 12th board. Remember when he went Brooklyn, he actually tugged at 2 boards right of that. Angelo around the second arrow. Speed similar. Brad with a little higher rev rate.
That's better. Much better, Brad.
Well, that looked like a can opener, just kind of opening up the 1-3 pocket. Very deliberate approach, steady head. A little straight-legged at the foul line. All 10 are down. Looking to get back into this, can cut the deficit to 29 with another strike right here.
Angelo's been kind of all over the scoreboard here. Strike, strike, and then an open frame, a strike, a spare, and a strike there in the 7th as we begin the 8th. There's some of that pin carry we love so much here in Lake Wales.
That's kind of like putting whipped cream on a rotten fish right there, Rob.
right.
It just stinks. Especially when your opponent's sitting there watching it, you're like,
Close to
trip
him, you
2?
get those kind of
Come on.
strikes.
Wait, I'm sorry. So putting whipped cream on a bad piece of fish would make it edible?
On a stinky piece of fish, something that stinks. You know, stinky.
So you would still eat it? A whipped cream would improve the taste?
No, you don't get it.
I know I don't. That's why I'm questioning you on this one.
No,
I want to learn from you.
No,
you know
like
that.
you wouldn't do that, so what? Never mind.
And look, you made me miss a ham bone. Come on, Randy.
You got to pay attention.
So Parker Bohn III, not distracted by that huge break that Brad Angelo got. He just steps up and gets a ham bone for Rob Stone.
Was that like putting whipped cream on a stinky fish? Or was that a good shot?
Well, that was a good shot.
I understand. We begin the night. The good shots continue for the 2-time former Player of the Year, Parker Bohn III.
And Rob, he talked to us about getting into some bad habits, and what he'd been working on was really going back to using his legs.
And he's done that quite well over his career. That's been the benchmark of his style and form. Deep knee bends, using his legs.
Leaves the 2-4-10. Yeah, the look of, oy vey.
Yeah, I seen Wes make this last week.
I was thinking of shooting it like Wes.
I didn't even watch me make this split, so I have no clue how it happened.
That's how you're supposed to do it.
Rob, over there into the 2-4, slide it over into the 10.
Yes!
He made it the correct way, too.
I don't know how I made it.
All right, and with that split conversion, nicely done. Brad Angelo can now strike out for 198. Parker Bohn III is in the 230, so Brad Angelo is mathematically eliminated.
He's the 7.
No good.
Parker Bohn will move on to take on Wes Malott. Wes Malott has dealt with 4 challengers to his throne. The 5th will be Parker Bohn III. You can see it next. The final installment of the PBA King of Bowling Series, powered by AMP, is heading towards a conclusion. It'll be Parker Bohn III taking on Wes Malott. We urge you to head on over to PBA.com for your chance to win a trip to NASCAR's AMP Energy 500 at Talladega Super Speedway in November. Simply click on the King of Bowling, powered by AMP link to learn about winning race tickets or a chance to wave the green flag for Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s qualifying run, or thousands of other great prizes. We go down Langside. Brienne hanging out with Parker Bohn III.
Parker, how do you feel about your chances against King Malott?
I better bowl a lot better game than what I just did. That game there, you know, sometimes you bowl 260 and score 190. Well, that time I bowled 190 and scored 260, so I need a little bit better look than what I'm doing currently.
Now, there was a lot at stake during this tournament for not just you, but your family as well. I know your kids have a little surprise coming since Dad's on TV. What is that?
Yeah, the surprise was if Dad can make the show the last 5 weeks, that we were going to Disney World. So we're on our way sometime tomorrow morning.
Now, he was named 10th greatest bowler of all time, but can he beat the King?
The King has been on a roll. 4 times he has successfully defended his throne by an average, Randy, of 40 pins have been his margin of victory through all 4 of those. How about that? Time now for the final opportunity for a change of power atop the PBA. Wes Malott, your reigning PBA King of Bowling. He's taken down Chris Barnes, Patrick Allen, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Last week it was Rhino Page who fell, and now the final assault, if you will,
Assault
by 2-time Player of the Year winner Parker Bohn III. Drops them all.
Parker Bohn has made a little ball change and moved a little bit farther left. You know, he found something in practice that he liked, and you heard him in his interview with Brienne. He said, listen, I may have scored 260, but I only bowled 190.
Malott, for the first time in his career, won Player of the Year honors last season. Hence, he began this whole series as the king of bowling and is yet to give up his grasp on it. Because of shots like that. And he's made some pretty big spare pickups along the run as well.
Yeah, and talking to him during practice before he went on, he said, you know, every week the lanes seem to be getting tighter and tighter, even though it's the same oil pattern. He says, Randy, I'm going to make an adjustment. I'm going to move up on the approach. I'm going to slow down a bit so I can get my ball to read that spot down the lane.
He tied Chris Barnes for the tour lead this past season with 8 television appearances and won 3 titles. Two for two to open up his final defense of his throne.
The king of PBAville.
Great shot.
I like that. He's been a good king.
A kind king.
Ruled with an iron fist when he needed to put people in their place. Double messenger there.
But let's not forget that he's taking on arguably the second greatest left-hander in the history of professional bowling behind Earl Anthony. How about a messenger? I know how my Rob likes a messenger.
You know what else I like? 300 games.
You like roll-offs too, don't you?
I do. Wes rolled a perfect 300 game 2 weeks ago, but no one has bowled more perfect games through the course of their PBA career than that man, Parker Bohn III. 84 perfect games.
He's even bowled one on television. And right now, perfect through 3 and trying to send a little message the king's way.
I did.
Parker and Wes met once this season on television. It was at the Lumber Liquidators Shark Championship in Baltimore, Maryland, just before the winter break. And it was Wes taking down Parker 290 to 204.
Wasn't me.
It was a lady.
Yep.
So both open up with a 3-bagger. Two weeks ago, it was Walter Ray Williams Jr. trying to dethrone Wes Malott. And Wes, I will have none of that. Have that for dinner. And chew on this one for dessert. And have an after-dinner mint of a 300 game. Wes was dialed in that night. I think he liked that.
I think he did too.
Really?
You know you did, Wes.
He'd like another strike. You know what that would be? 4 in a row.
Randy, do you know what I like more than a ham bone?
No.
Back-to-back ham bones.
Remember the first match, Brad Angelo could not
Gotta
get
add
it
some
back from that
excitement. All you
spot.
keep doing is going high flush.
Wes Malott, the rotation, the rev rate, he gets it to read that spot perfectly. 5 weeks in a row of non-stop scorpion pattern for Wes Malott.
Leaves the 3.
And the first chink in the armor for Parker Bohn III.
It's a minor chink, but a minor hiccup can become exposed rapidly the way Wes Malott has been bowling these past few weeks. Parker picks up the single spare. And we move on to the 5th. Parker down 11. The final of this 5-week King of Bowling series powered by AMP. Parker starts a new string of strikes with one in the fifth.
When are you going to become a man?
Does this say strike up there?
Yes, it does.
That's all that matters.
You're right, it is.
There's only one thing that Parker Bohn III has ever struggled with on this tour, and that's when the lanes get really slick, and he has to get soft with his speed. He likes to bring the heat and pipe it. And when his ball won't react down lane, that's the only time he's ever struggled.
I've learned.
That 3-pin that he left was a result of just a pinch too firm, a little bit too much speed.
Drops the nickel.
Robbie's got one of the prettiest releases in the sport. You watch that hand flip around the side of the bowling ball. I mean, it's just spectacular. And when I watch Wes Malott bowl, the phrase that comes to mind is efficiency of motion. It just looks so effortless.
Love that sportsmanship. Kids aren't here to distract me, so I guess you'll try.
Wes Malott learned that he
already took care of one opponent.
Player of the Year honors via his cell phone.
Love your kids, though.
Driving to the airport from that man, Parker Bohn III, giving him updates from the U.S. Open. Oh. Carry on, my wayward son. Malott opens up his final defense of his crown with an opening six-pack. The conclusion of the final King of the Bowling showdown when we return to the Kegel Training Center in Lake Wales. We welcome you back to ESPN's continuing coverage of the PBA King of Bowling, powered by AMP Energy. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson, Brienne Pedigo with you. I want to remind you that for the third consecutive year, the PBA will return to a Six Flags property. This year, it's Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey for 15 shows. The first airs Sunday, June 21st, 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Time now for your AMP Energy Power Stats.
Take a look at these numbers, Rob. Parker Bohn III moved 6 boards to the left from his first match to this match. And you can see that their rev rate is similar, 412 and 382. That's not that far off. But when you start looking at speed, 17.7, 19 miles an hour, although it doesn't seem like a big difference, it's huge in terms of reaction down the lane.
Parker down 31, and he struck in all but one frame. Leaves the double wood.
Just lack of down lane reaction due to the ball speed. He just needs to get a pinch softer. Give that ball an opportunity to turn up.
Again, we mentioned Parker Bohn, 32 career tour titles. 5th most all time with Norm Duke, and of those 32, just one of them a major, and one, he's finished runner-up 8 times in majors. Asked him, all right, Parker, great career, wonderful career. What's left for you? And he said, you know, winning a major would be nice. I want to continue to compete at the level that I know I can. And I'll get some more titles along the way, but he says, and I found this interesting, I get up for every tournament I bowled, not just the majors, in stark contrast to Norm Duke's recent approach. As Parker gets back on the strike train.
With another strike here, Wes Malott's going to pull another deposit slip out of his back pocket.
His domination has been really unreal.
Sick.
He won match 1 versus Chris Barnes 5 weeks ago by 54 pins, beat PA by 24 pins, beat Walter A. Williams Jr. by 62, courtesy of that 300. And last week, Rhino Page he defeated by 24. We've seen him throw a 300 in this series already. And through 7,
Hey, tape. Tape.
he is on the same
Tape.
path
Where a
as he
couple of them
was
fall down
against
slow?
Walter Ray Williams Jr. in week 3.
I mean,
Make
this
sure
is
I
just
got it out
nasty.
on
It looks
someone
like
to
he
a little
has
firm.
the whole right side of the lane. Barnes, he takes down 268, 214. Then he fires 258 at PA. Perfect at Walter Ray. 271 average for his 4 appearances. Rhino Page gave him a great match. If Rhino would have struck out, he would have shot 256, but Wes finished first through the last 7 to shut him out.
Again, the top 11 from the Player of the Year point race were all here, so no match was going to be easy, no matter who advanced. But, I mean, that's a tough foursome that you had to fight through.
Yeah, it's not like he's out here beating a bunch of lackeys.
No.
Like I said, the whole right side of the lane, he's using it all.
Shake it off,
I don't know
Parker.
what to tell you, man.
Ain't nothing you can do at this point. Just take your beating like a man, Parker.
I can tell you what to tell me. If you don't have a locker in this facility, they're going to deliver it in a Brinks truck.
The king is ashamed.
He should be.
They don't have enough in Japan for you.
There you go, Parker.
Strike number 6 for PB3.
Good strike.
Parker, be nice to the king because maybe in the future there will be work for you in
Perhaps
his kingdom.
Yeah, perhaps he'll give him an ambassadorship. What I find interesting about this run through the King of Bowling, the one man to defeat Wes Malott? Are you kidding me?
Michael Wilbon.
From PTI.
Michael Wilbon, the only person to take down the big nasty.
And you know what Malott did after losing to Wilbon?
No.
He took out the 300 stick on Walter Ray. Don't agitate the king.
Yeah, you don't. That's not a good idea. How about the front 8 now? Looking for 9 in a row. And dare I say it, we have the possibility of another perfect game.
Release, rotation, splash!
Are you kidding me?
9 for 9.
Great shot. One more.
3 strikes away from a 300. It would be his second in 3 weeks.
Wesley loves him, the scorpion pattern.
He's got the Bo Derek, perfect 10. Now he needs 11 and 12.
Oh, Bo Derek, I love it. Perfect 10. That's good stuff, bro. Speaking of good stuff, how about this shot right here? Right over about the 17th board, out to about the 4 or 5 board.
Comic room's upstairs.
And that ball just wheels back.
Come on. One more.
The front 11 in the books. 1 strike away from a second perfect game by the king in the PBA King of Bowling Series. And we talked to him today about that 300 game. And he said, you know what? It's courtesy of some of that experience I've been gaining. I can show that I can control my nerves now. Let's see how well he can manage and massage those nerves right now. 1 strike away from another perfect game. The crown stays with the king, Wes Malott.
You've been in this position. What is up with this? Is it ever end?
He's riding away. Riding away. It's awesome, man. Just hold on to it. Unbelievable. Good for you. No.
Thank you, Wes Malott, for a brilliant 5-week run.
How?
Dominance like that may have never, ever been seen in this sport.
Oh my gosh.
Sir, do you mind if I finish now?
Yes, I give you honors to do that.
I'll try to get out of your way, sir.
So Parker will close out the 10th with absolutely nothing riding on it.
Oh, gosh.
I figured the closer I got to you, you'd at least get some of that out.
Trying to spread the mojo to his competitor.
Rob, I'm speechless. I can't remember the last time I've seen a performance quite like this.
In all honesty, I think we should formulate a petition to change the Scorpion oil pattern to the Wes Malott oil pattern. Have a nice headshot of Wes on the lanes next season. This week we're bowling on the Wes Malott oil pattern. I mean, look at these gaudy
I'm
numbers.
glad you didn't jump into my arms.
257 was his low. He drops perfection twice, and both on former Players of the Year.
Well, I gotta be honest. I didn't think you could up your average against me, but I'm sorry. I was wrong.
If I just stayed slow, I wouldn't go and do that.
My thesaurus does not have the necessary words to describe what we have seen through Wes Malott. Maybe he can put it into words better. We'll hear from him when we return.
The PBA King of Bowling, powered by AMP, is brought to you by AMP. AMP Up, ampenergy.com. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. And by Prescription Flomax.
We welcome you back to Lake Wales, where your king, Wes Malott, has just dropped his second perfect 300 game of this event, and he's standing by downstairs with Brienne.
Thanks, Rob. I'm here with King Malott, and this would be Prince Camden and Prince Jordan. Wes, an emotional moment right after you threw that last strike for the perfect game again in this tournament. What went through your mind at that moment?
I mean, the only thing that's going through my mind is what an absolute unbelievable season this has been, and I wish it weren't coming to an end. I mean, I know we have Japan Cup, you know, so it's just been an absolute unbelievable season. I'm very grateful and honored to be in this position.
When you look at the list of players that you defeated over these past 5 weeks to earn the title King of Bowling, how much more meaning, what does this title mean to you?
Well, I mean, these, like I've said in previous weeks, these are the greatest guys in the world out here, and to be able to defeat them and you know, week in and week out here, and you know, I know I've been able to pick the pattern, but there's been some big games bowled, and I've just been fortunate enough to put even bigger scores up there, and to include 2 300s on television is just, it's indescribable.
You've kept your composure throughout this entire tournament, been a modest king, let's say. How are you now going to finally celebrate?
Well, I don't know. You know, it's crazy. You know, a lot of people ask me what am I going to do during the summer. I wish the summer, you know, I had a lot of time. Obviously, there's a lot of obligations and stuff to do, so I'm still got to stay busy and make the most of it while you know, I'm on this wave and keep riding it for a few years, and hopefully it doesn't go away too bad.
Congratulations, Wes. You have earned the title King of Bowling. No one was able to dethrone him this entire 5-week championship.
No,
Rob?
Bree, he called it a wave. That's a tidal wave.
Yeah, tsunami.
Oh, good gracious. What a run. And here's your Geico Championship recap, Randall.
Our first match, Parker Bohn III, the Hall of Famer, dismissed Brad Angelo by the score of 260 to 187. Then he had to face Wes Malott. And in the title match, can you believe it? Wes did it again. There's the first hit. There's the second. One more for a second. Perfect game. Rob Stone, the king, has spoken.
And he has been heard loud and clear, but he's not done yet. Time now for the King's Spare Challenge. Just because, you know what, he wants to maybe pocket another $10,000 check, right, Randy? If he hits all 3 of these spares in a row, another quick $10K into his bank account.
Baby split, washout, Greek church.
Good luck with that. I did, 12 in a
Parker
row.
Bohn III. It's a
No,
great
putting
view
2
with
up
his
there,
kids
just
and
tricky.
Wes's children as well. It's a daycare facility down there, apparently. Here's the baby split, 310.
Hey, Rob, would you be surprised if he actually got it done this time? I wouldn't. I mean,
The best he's done, he's only once has he completed the washout as well. This will be his 5th attempt at the washout over the course of this PBA King of Bowling series that's been powered by AMP.
God, if you had a purple suit on, it would be like the kids are sitting there watching Barney, huh?
So here he is, attempting the 1-2-4-10 washout.
unbelievable.
How did that 10 get missed?
They've fallen all week. What can I say? What can I say? Gave it a run. What else can I do?
A standing ovation worthy run by your player of the year, Wes Malott. Next time you can see the King in action will be a little bit later this summer, late June, as ESPN begins its coverage of the Geico PBA Team Shootout, hosted by Six Flags. We'll be at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. The first of 15 PBA shows begins Sunday, June 21st at 1 Eastern on ESPN. Put a bow on it for me, Randy.
Buddy, I'm spent. That's the greatest 5 weeks of bowling I've seen in a very, very long time. Wes Malott just absolutely dominated on this scorpion pattern. It's amazing.
For Randy Peterson, Brienne Pedigo, and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. Thanks for watching the PBA King of Bowling series. Congratulations! All hail the King, Wes Malott.